Jack and Sheila thought they found their perfect home, but then it rained, and suddenly their home was a flippin' swamp. Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokce Capital, and today we're going to cover the top 5 things you should know before you build or buy a home on a wetland. Let's get into it. Number 1, regulations. If you plan to build a home in a wet area, know that there are often legal and regulatory restrictions on building on wetlands. Designated wetlands are protected under the Clean Water Act as well as state laws. So before beginning any construction, check with local agencies as well as the Army Corps of Engineers office nearest you to determine what is allowed and what permits are required. But do these regulations mean that you cannot build on wetlands? Not necessarily. After all, how did the builder of Jack and Sheila's home get away with constructing in a swamp?
Giddy up!
This leads us to number 2. The Army Corps of Engineers has a nationwide permit program that authorizes certain activities in wetlands that have minimal impacts on the environment. In fact, many building projects on wetlands are approved so long as the builder can show that they have minimized the damage or mitigated it by planting new wetlands elsewhere. So yes, it is possible to build on a wetland, but don't let the term minimal impact confuse you. It doesn't mean that building on or near a wetland won't have consequences for you or the home's eventual buyer.
Howdy, partner!
Because, as pointer 3 shows us, wetlands have many benefits. Wetlands provide important ecological services such as water purification, flood control, and habitat. Building on wetlands can have a significant impact on these services as well as the surrounding ecosystem. Wetlands are wet for a reason. They are places where natural waterways drain. You've heard the term drain the swamp. Well, it's a misnomer. You actually can't drain a swamp. You can make certain parts of it look dry and you could redirect the water elsewhere, but that water must still go somewhere. And filling in wetlands to build a home will often mean that you increase flooding on a different part of your property or in the surrounding neighborhood.
Keep your formation!
But can't you simply plan for additional drainage infrastructure? Well, yes, but as point 4 indicates, it's not always enough. In the case of Jack and Sheila's property, the land had been well sloped to account for drainage. Plus, the developer had just installed large culverts in the road as well as a retention pond to take care of additional stormwater runoff. But yet, when it rained, the ground on the property grew soft and began to give. Clumps of wetland grass sprouted in tufts around the yard, and water seeped out of the front lawn onto the curb. Within a matter of weeks, the couple's new backyard had become a mosquito-infested swamp. Water will find a way to get to where it wants to go, no matter how clever you think your engineering is. And sadly, once a wetland is drained, it can be hard for a future homebuyer to determine whether the site was once a wetland.
Stay tuned, there's more to come!
Which leads to our final pointer. You have to visit the property during multiple times of the year. When Jack and Sheila visited the property during the initial inspection period, it was dry as a bone. But then, just days before the closing, they had their first rainstorm. And everything changed. But Jack and Sheila were lucky. The rain came before their closing, so they were able to back out. However, many wetlands around the U.S. are seasonal, and if you buy land during the dry season, it could be months before you discover its more unpleasant property. You can always check the federal wetlands mapper and local GIS maps to see if a wetland shows up on your land. But these maps aren't always accurate. So if you are in a region that is known to have wetlands, be sure to check the property at multiple times throughout the year before committing to a construction project or a home.
Attention!
Otherwise, you too could find that your secluded wooded getaway is a flippin' swamp. But do you have any other questions about buying or selling land that you just can't get answered? Come join my live stream every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll answer your questions and also give away a complimentary vacation. So thank you for listening, and more to come.